More to Marketing. Welcome to More to Marketing, the podcast that explores marketing, product, and everything business. I'm your host, Susan, and today we're going to be talking about how AI is transforming content and marketing, particularly in this year of 2025, and it'll probably be applicable for 2026 too. So I'm very excited today. I have a very special guest. It is Mike Sanchez, and he is the revolutionary founder and CEO of Eccentric, a pioneering platform enabling adult content creators to maximize their earnings and grow their brands. But the important thing here is without increasing any of the explicitness in their content. So under his leadership, they really champion innovation and AI-driven strategies. And this has helped creators scale income strategically and sustainably. With a keen understanding of this economy itself, the creator economy, he's able to actually complement and have an ethical, forward-thinking approach and growth methodology. He's positioned Xentrik as the forefront of digital creator support. His expertise bridges technology, brand development, and monetization, making him a go-to partner to go to for creators seeking to differentiate themselves while maintaining an authentic approach to themselves for their audience. So, Mike, I'd love to say hi to you. How are you going?
Thanks, Susan. I'm great. Thank you so much for that very fantastic introduction. Yes, you've struck my ego there.
No, you've done some absolutely amazing things. Some of the campaigns you've even done for yourself have made me laugh, and I've loved that as well. But I'd love to know, first off, how did you get where you are today, and how did you come about creating your company?
Yeah, so good question. How does anyone fall into this industry? It was actually during COVID. A lot of people at the time were starting up on OnlyFans, and I happen to be one of those people. I was also, the decision became a bit easier for me as well because I was also serving a sentence of imprisonment at the time. I was actually on home detention for a sentence of drug trafficking. At that point in my life, I'd already been, I think, 2 years so 3 years sober, I think, and I really wanted to, I guess, do something different, something legitimate. And I reconnected with an ex-girlfriend of mine who had been a stripper in the past, and then she transitioned to OnlyFans whilst I was in prison. I got back out and she told me about it, and I was kind of like, what? You're making all this money, doing, very little at the time. Back in 2020 was a lot easier. So I sort of did a bit of research, had a bit of marketing and sales background, and I kind of saw that everyone was either using their own name or a fake name. And I was like, why is no one going for a theme? Why is no one having fun with it? And that's kind of how I came up with Mike and his banana. It's very obvious when you hear that, you kind of know what is going to be on my OnlyFans.
I have to say there is real bananas as well, guys.
There's real bananas
as in the yellow ones you buy at the supermarket. Just want to be really clear.
Yep, all different shapes and sizes of bananas for sure. And I guess what happened from there is I did content with other creators, and I was just genuinely helping them out for free with their optimizing their profiles and how to market themselves. They wanted me to keep helping them, so they offered me money to do so, and which I was surprised about. And I realized maybe I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I should turn it into a business. So yeah, that's how pretty much the agency then stemmed from there. And fast forward to today, we're at 25, 30 odd models and 30 employees based out of Australia, the US, UK, South Africa, and the Philippines.
I love it. And I love that you looked at a gap. You looked where there was an opportunity to really differentiate yourself in a way that was appropriate for the industry, and you didn't have to go eggplant. So I'm happy you didn't go eggplant. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
If seriously though, anyone that actually wants to have a good giggle, I have to say, he is fantastic at parody. Go onto the Insta. I'll put the handle in, but it's such a creative way to do it in a fun way and a clean way too, where you're getting the message out there for yourself and your brand, as Mike and his banana, but also that people understand what would go in if you went deeper as well. So I've got to say, I love that concept. I did get a great laugh at that. We're talking about it before, but in a good way laugh. And it was really clever. I loved it. But let's have a chat more about what you're doing. So with all the people that you're working with, you've mentioned all the models and everything like that, and probably even for yourself and your business, you're now utilizing a lot more for AI for creating your content. So give us a bit of an idea of what an everyday looks like using AI when you're building out a campaign.
Got it, got it. So with AI, we initially invested heavily into it because we wanted to solve a problem with. So we've got various different types of models. We've got girl next door type looking models. We've got influencer models. We've got trans models. We've also got models within the pregnancy niche. So the thing about the pregnancy niche is, well, they can't stay pregnant forever. Eventually, they give birth, and all of a sudden, their income usually plummets, soon after. So we realized we were able to solve that with the power of AI. Now we're able to essentially keep them pregnant forever, meaning that we can just generate that pregnancy content of them, and they can maintain their income because a lot of these are mums in their 30s. They've got 2, 3, 4 kids, and of course the cost of living is only going up and up. So we're able to then essentially extend their pregnancies indefinitely, which has allowed them to continue to support themselves and their family. But
Amazing. That's really interesting. I've got a question about that. So I might be giving away too much behind the scenes here, but does that mean that they record, say they're not pregnant now, but they record something today? You can then overlay today's face with yesterday's pregnant body? So
we
they
can just
age with it a bit as well?
we can just generate the entire content based on reference images. So let's say we've got 50, 100
Wow.
reference images of them being pregnant, real photos. We can then completely generate new photos of them anywhere. We can have them, on the top of the Eiffel Tower pregnant. It would look completely real. So yeah, it's basically just full AI generation. But I think what you're leading on to is other ways that we're able to then market models. So yeah, we have also solved. We've realized that with the power of AI, we can also allow models to essentially maintain their anonymity completely. And the way that we do that is essentially we would create a completely AI face. So it's not a real person. And then we would then put that face onto a model's body that wants to remain anonymous. So we would still, of course, use their body. Main reason being is, the video content, the photos and stuff like that. We can still generate them completely, yes, but it's quite costly and it's quite time consuming. So we would essentially much prefer to have the model create the content, and then we can still make sure that she remains anonymous by simply putting an AI face over her body, and then she can then still essentially make money on OnlyFans without having to worry about any potential repercussions.
I think that's a fantastic thing, particularly when you've got so many young people who are wanting to potentially get into the industry, but they're not sure if they want to stick with it, particularly if that's only going to be 3 years, I think was the general number out there of how long people usually stay in the industry for. And that gives them the opportunity, then they could go into politics, being very extreme there, but not have to worry unless they use their real name. So then that they can have that opportunity to express themselves. And if that's how they want to earn their money, they can, but also feel safe for whatever their future career could look like.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we have found that as a significant gap in the market that we've been able to really sort of help, because a lot of young girls or women in their 20s, a lot more of them would be open to the idea of doing OnlyFans if they were able to hide their identity. So we've basically been able to solve that problem. I'm here right now actually in the Gold Coast. We have a model that was essentially on the brink of homelessness. She was studying full time, and she essentially came to us, and asked if it was possible to help. We were able to solve that problem and help her out. So fast forward to today, just in the last 6 months, she's saved over $250,000, which is basically paid for her entire degree in one semester of uni, and she's been able to maintain her uni studies while doing that.
And also no one at uni knowing unless she tells them.
Exactly, yeah. But as she makes more money, she's becoming less. She's realized that she's probably never going to even make that amount of money, in her own field. But it kind of, she at least now has the option of continuing to do this and going all out if she wants, or she can pretty much keep doing her degree, and by the time she's graduated, she'll essentially be a millionaire already.
Awesome. I love that. I love how that the technology has now got the ability to help someone who was in a vulnerable position to then gain power. That's absolutely a fantastic example of how the problem you've solved there with the AI has really helped an individual and will help more.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly quite empowering, and it's done a lot for her confidence as well. She also happened to be with um, a pretty unfortunately abusive partner at the time, and as you know, sometimes people stay in relationships longer than they probably should. It's mainly because they don't actually have any other options, nowhere else to go. She's, of course, thankfully since broken up with said person. She lives alone, completely financially independent, at only 20 years old. So she's certainly living her best life now.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. And utilizing AI, how have you used it in your strategies yourself for your business for marketing purposes?
Yeah, like a range of things. Actually, the parody that you watched, I used AI to rewrite Gwen Stefani's script a little bit to try and make it banana themed. So we use it for script writing. We use it for automating admin tasks within the business. We of course use it for content creation in terms of generating. And to be honest, like people have been using AI for content creation for quite some time now. Facetune, for example, right, which is it's actually AI when you're editing the face and it detects the face and it changes it. So in terms of where do you draw the line? Well, people have already been using Facetune, so technically they've already been using AI to enhance or generate prettier faces for quite some time now.
I agree. I never really used it a lot, but lots of people use the filters on their phones and everything to
Yeah, that's
glam
AI.
themselves up. That is all AI.
Yep.
And I think one of the things, there needs to be a balance between authenticity and then the creation of complete AI, where you, like you said, you had the 50, 70 photos and it's completely created. How do you do that balance? And what do you think is important about keeping a balance?
I think in terms of what we've always known, that what we see on social media isn't real, right? Well, that's what people say, but now it's becoming quite literally the reality, right? So what we see is just the highlight reel, or perhaps it's the fantasy. And certainly in this industry, the industry that I'm in, we make that quite clear that, we are giving you the girlfriend experience, right? We're giving you the fantasy of, the connection, right? It's not essentially a real connection. It's online only, right? Where essentially empowering the models to just do that with a little bit less work to them. It's like if someone goes into a strip club and they you know they're expecting to date the stripper. It's obvious that what's going on is a fantasy. It's a transactional sort of thing that's going on, and we just essentially allow the models to enhance that fantasy and delegate and minimize the amount of work that they have to put in.
And I think that's probably appreciative as well, because then they can do more with their time and put their efforts into other things.
Definitely, yeah, because that's what this is all about at the end of the day, right? The goal isn't money, the goal is freedom. Money is just a tool to help us get there. And if you're able to give them more time, you're essentially giving them more freedom.
Mm. I would love to know your thoughts in regards to, you made me think of something there. So the fantasy, you're giving them the real, the pictures, wherever it might be that they're ingesting on OnlyFans or whatever it is. Where, and this is me just thinking ahead, where do you see the future of this going to have a true girlfriend experience where the guy can actually talk and they talk back to them, and it's as if he really is dating that sensual Sally or whatever you want to call her in this particular like fun example I'm doing? Do you think it's going to end up that way for a lot of these generative creations?
Yeah, I guess it's like going back to the movie Her. I'm not sure if you've seen it with
Yes.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, it I, it does blur the lines a little bit. It's going to be a very interesting world. We don't know how fast it's going to progress, but I think I read somewhere, and I think it's pretty accurate, but it's very likely that by the year 2030, it's estimated that about 90% of the content we see online is going to be completely AI generated. So I guess we don't know what we don't know. It's going to be certainly a very different world very, very soon. And all we can really do is adapt. There's no use in resisting. So you really just got to ride the wave and make the most of AI and learn to use it to your advantage.
And I think that's where other technologies that complement AI come in really well. It's as well documented that usually government departments, not going to name countries here, but usually a really, really giant one, um, they usually do the technologies first, and then the adult industry usually pick it up second if it makes sense. And VR and augmented reality are probably two of the big ones that complement AI so well that I know that the adult industry has jumped onto. Have you yet had a play around in that space, particularly with user generated creations?
Not so much in like you're talking virtual reality stuff.
Yeah, or even augmented realities. Yeah.
Oof, no, we haven't. Probably because the platform OnlyFans doesn't really have any kind of virtual reality integrations yet. But I can imagine, yeah, that might be some of the next steps. But no, we haven't really looked into that. But
I can see I've sparked an idea here.
yeah, it'll be definitely a lot of use cases for that. But yeah, at the time being, more so just the social media and OnlyFans side of things.
With all this creation using AI, and particularly in such a sensitive industry, because it's you want to keep all your clients safe and secure, make sure that they're doing the content they want to produce and not feeling pressured or anything. How are you finding the ethical safeguards when it comes to incorporating AI for a user that's usually generated it themselves? How are you finding those conversations, and what are they thinking of the outputs when they finally see them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the all of the feedback has been very positive because I think we all underestimate how time consuming, content creation can really be. So if you're able to solve that problem for content creators and the content looks as good, if not better than if they'd made the content themselves, they're usually quite happy about that. Of course, you need their consent before you can use it. You have to be very transparent. Thankfully, we've got very good relationships with all of our clients, so they're very trusting in us that we're going to be using it for the right reasons, and that is primarily to help market their own socials and OnlyFans.
Awesome. And how have you yourself? I don't know. I don't have an OnlyFans account. I might be one of the very few that don't. Is your account still active? I have to ask.
I am. It's not active. It's certainly just still there, but I am at this point in time. I'm a retired
You're
content
on
creator. The
you're
the
on
agency is
hiatus.
yeah, the agency is my full focus. You've seen the kind of content that I do now. It's more so marketing for the agency, not marketing my banana anymore.
Well, I'm thinking about, if you were, say tomorrow you decide I'm going to go and I want to make an extra blah because I've got this goal and I want to give myself some more power here. What tools would you use and how would you use them? And I'm talking AI tools here.
Okay. Yeah, look, there's a lot of publicly available AI tools. Now, the thing is, most of it, in fact, if not all of it, only allows PG content. Like you cannot do not safe for work content. So it's very hard to do that kind of content. We've built it all in-house with our own team of developers. So that's why we're able to do not safe for work content ourselves. Now, regardless, not safe work content is still actually, sorry, AI content is actually still banned on OnlyFans altogether. Now, you can get away with it if your AI is good enough, which ours is. We don't put our creators at risk. So at this point in time, we only use AI content on social platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I was to market myself, I would make 50 to 100 reference images and reels, and then I would be able to use the power of AI to make similar duplicates of those images. I could make my banana as big as I wanted to. I could make my abs as defined as possible. Like right now, they're nowhere near as good as they used to be when I was a content creator. So yeah, I would be able to just essentially enhance the content that I was already making, and replicate it and duplicate it. So you kind of use AI to supplement what it is that you're already doing, versus completely replace.
And I love that what you're planning to do with it is use, I suppose, the same human body, but then transpose what the background might be. So it might be on a Australian beach versus American beach, or on rocks down in Melbourne, because you don't have sand down there, guys. All those different places, but it's the same body. And just reusing it, just like everyone reuses everyday marketing content. It's just doing it, but in a clever way where you can actually transpose the backgrounds of people moving. And I love that because it's transferable skills across industries. It gets done in the movies all the time as well. So it's fantastic that AI is now given the ability that you can actually create something in your studio, which 20 years ago wouldn't have been possible. But now the technology is here that you can, and then you can create it in a safe format too.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting world indeed. The barrier of entry is going to be pretty much significantly lower. Almost everyone's going to have access to the technology very, very soon. So I think it's just going to make the quality of the content a lot higher quality, because all of a sudden it's going to be a lot more competitive. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting world soon.
Now, I know that there's been a lot of debate happen recently where people haven't realized that influencers are actually pure virtual influencers. So they've been user generated AIs, and people have thought they've been real humans. How have you seen that outside of OnlyFans? Because we've just established that OnlyFans doesn't allow that. But on other formats and other forums, how have you seen that rise happen? And what do you think the future might hold for those?
Yeah, so at the moment, you do on all social platforms, you usually have to say that you're an AI model if you are an AI model, right? Otherwise, you run the risk of, having inauthentic activity and potentially getting your account banned, or shadow banned. However, of course, AI is only going to get better and better, and we can already create AI content that you simply cannot tell with the naked eye that it's AI. So it's going to become less of a problem, but also more of a problem. Less of a problem in the sense that uh, people won't be able to tell that it's AI, so they'll never complain, but more of a problem that I guess we won't know what's real and what's fake anymore. And then I think it is going to probably get to the stage. I think we're already seeing it now, but it's going to get to the stage where, yeah, influencers will become a little bit obsolete because, well, if brands can generate the content all themselves and generate their own influencers, like why would you ever pay someone to do it? So I think it's going to be the real kind of people and brands, and same as OnlyFans models too, the ones that are going to outlast this AI wave are the ones that build a strong personal brand. So like it's never been a more important time to be as authentic to yourself as you possibly can be, so that you can essentially prove that you're real, really.
I love that. What I'm hearing out of that is the future of AI. People are very wary and worried that they're going to lose their jobs, but you're always going to need skilled writers behind the scenes because the AIs won't always be able to do the storytelling, the backgrounds, the authenticity of being human. So if you are behind the scenes and you can make and weave amazing stories where it might be whatever content's getting created or the story behind that goes for a few years, that's where the golden nuggets are going to be.
Yeah, I think for in the short term, definitely these kind of things are going to be you need to be humans for them, but we honestly don't know what we don't know. Like we had no idea AI was going to advance as quickly as it had. So you could be wrong about that. There could be three,
True.
5, maybe 10 years time where it is able to write as good, if not better, stories than humans. We honestly don't know what the future holds. But certainly the safest kind of jobs are going to be the ones that are quite labor intensive. Having said that, we're already seeing robots in China and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a very unknown.
Now, if you were going to give advice to someone about to whether it's a brand or creator and they're about to start off and use AI for the first time for either content creation or marketing, what advice would you give?
I would say, yeah, just do a lot of your research. Funnily enough, you should do use AI to do your own research. So if you use there's ChatGPT, but there's also Elon's version, which is Grok. I actually much prefer Grok because it's got an unhinged voice version, which I think is quite funny. But you would I would recommend using AI to essentially ask it, what are the best softwares and platforms that are publicly available, so that I can, generate XYZ content or do XYZ thing, whatever it is that you've got planned. It'll pretty much spit you back a roadmap and an action plan on what are the best, most up-to-date current softwares to use, what websites to use. Like I said, we do it all in-house, so we don't use stuff that's publicly available. But I would say start from there. Yeah, ask AI how to best use AI. Is the answer.
I love that. And I think that there's such a place for AI to be that great assistant to help you do your research because I find it, I use Perplexity myself. I find it's better than using Google search because I find that it does a better search algorithm behind the scenes. So I'm getting better information to be able to sort through myself and go, yep, 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 yep. Where is Google? I was like, why is it on page 3?
Agreed. I stopped using Google for a lot of things like the more advanced questions some time ago because yeah, it really gives you. So Perplexity was it
Yes.
what you use? Oh, okay, interesting. Haven't even heard of that. There you go. There's another one for you. Um, yeah, I've been using Grok for some time now, and it's really helped me in terms of I guess getting clarity on whatever it is that I'm looking for.
Fantastic. Now, what has been your most favorite campaign that you've worked on that you've used a touch of AI in?
It's definitely the banana music video parody because it's a little bit harder than you think to write up a script if it has to be Gwen Stefani themed and like banana themed. And I feel like the script writing specifically has been quite helpful. What we're what I've also just started doing recently too is something I've always wanted to get into was YouTube long form video content. But again, that does require a lot of again script writing, right, which is quite intensive. That's actually the hardest part for me. It's quite easy to film something, but coming up with what to say for 10 to 15 minutes without rambling and actually being concise in your wording, that's the hard part. So what we've done is the development team has essentially been able to scrape the internet for all the highest performing YouTube videos in my specific niche and industry. And then it's been able to basically give us all like summarized kind of captions. It's been able to indicate all the keywords, all the key points that were talked about in those high performing videos. And it's able to basically package them all up. And I can essentially write up my own script, but do it with my own personality, my own flair. Usually it's like 70 to 80%, of the way there. And then I've basically got a essentially a first draft to then come in, edit, and change it around a little bit and make better. I think when it comes to writing in a long script, the hardest part is just getting the first draft right. So by just having that first draft there, I've been able to refine it, and I've been able to pump out 2 to 3 YouTube videos.
Fantastic. I love that because it's multi-uses of AI there. You've got it researching and scraping, collating it, pulling it together, maybe even giving you some suggestions on what you could do with it. And then giving you, like I said, the assistant where it gives you 80% of the
Yeah.
way.
Think of it as like it helps you brainstorm. If you've got brain fog, it'll spit out maybe a bunch of ideas and things to say and things to do. And after you have that, you can kind of an artist, still like an artist, and iterate on those ideas, and then maybe it'll allow you to spark your creative brain and come up with something even better.
Fantastic. I love it. Now, before I ask my final question, do you have anything else you want to share about how you've been utilizing AI or marketing for how you're going to position your brand and businesses this year?
So we're just going to double down on our anonymous sort of route. So we're going to really have a clear focus on ensuring that we're able to market models while they maintain their anonymity on the platform.
That sounds like a fantastic strategy because it's also a growth strategy for you too, because owning the tech yourself, no one else has it. So they're going to come to you for that, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have pretty much a monopoly on all of the university students that want to print cash without showing their face.
Or even the mums who want to stop working when they've had their kids and that too. There's so many opportunities there. I can name probably 50 of them already in my head. My head's going crazy with it. That's awesome.
We do actually have a faceless creator, yeah, that makes 30K a month, and she's got 3 kids, and she's a mum in her 30s. So yeah, absolutely, bring them on.
Awesome. I love that. Now I'm going to ask you my final question I ask everybody, and that is what brand, any brand in the world, best represents you and why?
I'm going to say SpaceX
I know,
because
I do know you're an Elon fan.
definitely an Elon fan. But I'm going to have to say SpaceX. I like Elon as a whole, but he's very ambitious, and I've got my favorite saying. It's kind of like a spin on Richard Branson's quote, but the quote goes like this: if people aren't calling you bananas, then you're not thinking big enough. And
Love it.
everyone thinks he's crazy for wanting to take us to Mars, but he is looking like he's going to be the only person on Earth that can do it. Our goal is to take our um, content creators' incomes to the moon or to Mars even, and we're going to do that with the power of AI.
I love that. It's helping others and you're not just thinking about your own business. I love that because it's empowering so many people to be able to do that with your technology.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Oh, beautiful. I'm just going to do a quick roundup, and then you can tell me if I've missed anything out. So today we're doing a very special conversation today about AI in the adult content creator space and how it's being used for both content creation and marketing. Specifically, there's always a problem to solve, and AI is helping to solve that across all different industries. And in the adult industry, there's so many opportunities, particularly to help safeguard people's safety. One of the fascinating things I learned about today was the ability right now to be able to cover someone's face with a fake face so they can still safely earn, but maybe in the future have a really prominent career if they choose to. I think that is empowering so many people, whether they're boys or girls, to be able to do what they need to at a time that they feel like they want to do something and then go and do something different. And that's an amazing empowerment for anybody. And I think that there's so many opportunities here that AI is being utilized that can be used across all different industries because AI is empowering script writing, admin, reduction in times, and streamlining processes through to the actual content creation itself. So you can have many iterations of the original same content. And all of that is transferable no matter what industry you're in. So it's fantastic to be able to see it being utilized in a way that is empowering more and more people to be able to do more with it. But at the same time, servicing an audience that wants this. It's an audience that wants a fantasy. They want to be able to see something that they don't get in their everyday life, perhaps, and then actually enjoy it. And AI is opening up more content opportunities for absorbing. And that could be in the future, like I was mentioning before, is there an opportunity here where augmented reality or even virtual reality comes in? Or to the point where the content's created, but instead of DMing a human, you're DMing the virtual influencer and you're getting a personalized experience there because of the AI behind it. They're things that will potentially happen over time. Who knows? The future's the future, but it's something that is being explored and looked at, and AI is helping power it. And then it can be utilized in all different industries. I love that this particular business, Eccentric, is all about the goal and the goal of freedom. And the freedom well, it equals money eventually, but it also frees them to do anything and everything they want. A lot of the time, I've heard research that many people in the adult industry maybe only stick around for a number of years. Usually, I think it's about 3, I think I heard. But this allows them to enjoy themselves during that time, having complete control in a way that's never been seen before with this special technology that Mike's team has. But AI is also allowing a better quality too for the end consumer. They're seeing a higher quality coming out because of the ability of using AI to do filters and changes and whatever else needs to be done with the content, which means it's not just serving the creator, it's enhancing the experience of the end user. And that's who we're ultimately trying to please as well here. I personally see that there's going to be a fantastic opportunity here for AI to be more and more involved. It's going to be an interesting one to see from the sidelines for me. I think it's absolutely fascinating. And I love that Xentrik has been out there to be a front runner and an Australian to be able to create this new, safer type of content creation to help people like the example we heard from today. Mike, anything else to add?
No, that's everything. Yeah. Thank you for that fantastic, what would you call it, an outro?
I love it. And please tell everyone, how do we get in touch with you? How do we get in touch with your business? Can you share all of that for us, please?
Sure. Just DM me on Instagram. So that's at Mike and his banana, all one word, or you can put an inquiry through on our website. It's all linked in the bio of my main Instagram or the agency page, which is at Eccentric Marketing with an X and a K. Not to get too confusing there, but yeah, send me a message and hit me up, and maybe we can potentially work together.
Fantastic. And I'll have all those details in the show notes as well for everyone. Thank you again so much, Mike. I've really enjoyed this conversation. It's been really fascinating for me. For everyone else, don't forget to add more to marketing to your playlist so you don't miss out on future fabulous guests.
Perfect. Thanks, Susan.
More to marketing.